Hey guys, Icefire here and welcome to another video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the Bloodlines 2 gameplay reveal, specifically the extended trailer. Now I would take a look at the extended gameplay, the full 20 minutes, but I have already done that on my own personal time, and with my current setup right now it's a little bit tricky to do that. So we're just going to be checking out this small little snippet, and then I'm going to go into detail on my thoughts and what I think of it after. Sound good? Sound good. Great. Okay, so headphones are in, trailer on my phone, so without further ado, let's check out the trailer.
I guess I have to be the one to tell you.
Seattle looks really good in this. I just want to say that now. Seattle looks good.
You're dead.
Oh, I didn't notice that. Your hands heal. I didn't notice that.
Scraps here.
I've seen it raised by fire, shaken by quakes.
Whatever you do in my city, I will hear about it. Seattle is firmly under my control.
You're obviously new to this whole existence, but truth is, most of you types won't even make it a whole year.
Oh, it's the guy from the poster.
That you need to
Nice.
drink blood. You can't just do whatever you want. Cities are carved up by political factions. Never tell anyone about what you are. See, vampires are extremely territorial. Unwittingly poach in someone's territory and suddenly whip! We have one rule. You don't break the masquerade.
Can't break the masquerade, my dudes. Oh, the flippy shit. I love the flippy shit.
Welcome to the first day of the rest of your death. Having fun yet?
I like that line. I like it a lot. So far, it's for pre-alpha, it's looking good.
I'm happy to see you accepted
Just off the bat,
my
it looks good.
invitation. All I need you to do is to find a thin blood by the name of Slug.
Slug.
He's in hiding. But the Nosferatu most likely know where he is.
She's
Once
cute.
you find Slug,
She cute.
all you
I
have
like
to
her.
do is purchase some information off of him. Feel free to use whatever methods are needed to get him to comply.
Just jump off the side of the building, she'll be right.
I assume your handlers have sent you to find our smelly friend. You can find Slug under the freeway, or in a place the locals call the jungle.
Oh, his
He's
face.
smart enough to hide among
His
the homeless down
face.
there, but not
I like
quite
it.
smart enough to do it well. Talk to him about coming to see us, and no one needs to know. We'll let you keep anything you've been promised from whoever sent you to me, but you'll want to watch yourself. Lots of unsavory animals in the jungle.
It looks good.
know you. That's a good start.
So you can
Slug
see your
is a
character
coward,
at some
but he
moments.
survived
That's
this
good.
long on his own, so he's bound to be a handful. He's also not the only one you'll need to look out for.
Some of the combat looks a little janky when you're using the weapons, I noticed, but other than that, it doesn't look too bad. Ooh, that stab though.
Whatever methods are needed to get him to comply.
We'll let you keep anything you've been promised.
Just let me go. Come on. Just let me leave.
The dialogue options. That's good. I like it. I approve. There's blood boil. I can't tell if it's a vampire or if it's a vampire hunter. Cannot tell. Alright, so let's look at the trailer. Right, so overall my thoughts on it. First off the bat, I do notice those animation issues in the face. Like, it's very blank and the lip syncing is a bit off. Especially if you look at Dale specifically, like, that definitely needs a lot of work. So that's probably one of the first things that I noticed. But one of the other things that I do notice is that the gameplay itself, when you look past the janky facial animations here and there, it looks good. In the fuller gameplay reveal, the 20-minute long videos that you've probably been seeing around the internet by now, if you haven't seen them, I'll link to a good one down in the description below. Just a heads up, the IGN one sucks. It will piss you off. But I found a good one, so I will link that in the description below if you want to check out the full gameplay for yourself. But what I noticed from that is that the environments look good. Your haven, pretty solid. You also have the option to sleep, which is cool. Because I think you can pass time when you sleep, if I'm not mistaken. I do want to have a look around the haven eventually when the game comes out, because there's just so many little things here and there, like that billboard. I want to get a closer look at the billboard and just really get into the nitty gritty of all the details that you see. And then obviously once you leave the haven, there is Seattle, the city itself, and the city is very pretty. I've never been to Seattle. What I know of Seattle is that it's oddly enough been the chosen setting for a lot of games recently. The Last of Us Part 2 will be taking place in Seattle, and a few years previously, Infamous Second Son took place in Seattle, so anything I know about the landscapes of that area is through those games, and it looks like a really interesting place to explore. It's nice. I also noticed a compass, which I'm going to be a bit controversial here and say I like the inclusion of the compass. I've seen a few people upset on the internet about the map markers. You know, they're not too keen on there being like markers on the map. I'm sure there will be an option to turn it off in the HUD in your settings, but me personally, I like it. In Bloodlines 1, I got lost in downtown so many times to the point where it got irritating. So actually being able to see like which area are the blind spots and which areas, you know, you gotta put on the masquerade, that's helpful. Not only that, but it's so much easier to find where you need to go, because I have a tendency to get lost in video games very easily, especially if it's a semi to full-on open world game. So I like the inclusion of the map marker personally. You know, it's an each to their own thing, but just for me, in my own gameplay experience, I like that they've included that. And speaking of good experiences in video games, the dancing, it's back. It's back, and it's terrible. I'm pretty sure the vampire was doing Orange justice, and I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it. Do the Orange justice. You can take me anytime, I'll and one of the first characters that you do meet in the game is a woman called Elif? I don't know how to pronounce her name, but from what I can tell, she is a Tremere, because at certain points in her dialogue in the demo, she mentions being a part of the Pyramid, which I'm not too familiar with the lore, but from what I've gathered just from like reading some commentary on it, they're associated with the Tremere, so you know, it's obvious that she is a Tremere, which I dig. She looks the type, and she is, I hope she's romanceable. Very gay. Very gay. Bi mode activated. After you talk to Elif, which is how I'm going to be pronouncing her name, so I don't know how to pronounce her name, so after you talk to Elif, you have to leave and find a guy called Slug, a Nosferatu Finnblood, and I like the mission because if you watch a couple of the different demos, there's a lot of ways that you can approach things, which is really nice. There is a path that you can go that's like up onto a pipe. You climb on a pipe, go through a wall, and there's a vent, and if you use the mist power, I can't remember which one it is, I think it's nebulation. You can mist through the vents and go to the other side, or if you use Chiropteran, you can climb up onto a different area that's on the opposite side of where you were looking at before and fly over using your swarm of bats, which is really cool. So there's a lot of ways that you can approach things. You can approach things with your exploration differently, depending on what Finnblood perk that you have. And also when it comes to dialogue, there's choices. That's so hard to come across in an RPG nowadays because it's usually like that really shitty, if you've played Fallout 4 then you know what the dialogue wheel was like in that game. Usually it's like that nowadays, but now, choices. And skill checks for each one, that's the kind of stuff I like. So that's off the bat a very positive note for me. A not so positive note is how many people have killed Slug. Leave Slug alone. He's just a boy trying to make his way in the world. I like Slug. I am part of the Slug protection squad. I will not be killing Slug in my playthrough. He's too pure. I can't. Now, I am quite positive overall towards how the game looks, as you can tell from, how I'm talking about it. But there are a lot of janky things that do need polishing, like obviously the facial animations, because I noticed from here up, it's pretty lifeless in terms of just like general expressiveness of the characters. But then then there's the lip syncing that's also off too. So hopefully that is polished more. And one animation that I really like though is the little flip that you can do in combat. I love that flippy spinny shit. I want to do it myself. It looks so fun and it's like satisfying to see it pulled off correctly. Overall, my general feelings towards how I think the Bloodlines 2 demo went are pretty positive as a whole. Obviously there are issues with the animations. I am not blind to that, even in my hype and excitement. I can't help but notice those issues where it's a bit janky with some animations in the combat and also the facial expressions and lip syncing. Obviously that's, something that you do take notice of, and I have definitely taken notice of that personally. However, that being said, I like what I saw. The gameplay was pretty solid, even in its pre-alpha state, and I hope that when we get to see a bit more of it, that it's more polished, and that the developers focus on working out those little bits here and there that just need a bit of tweaking. I even asked a couple of you guys on my community page on YouTube what you thought of the Bloodlines 2 demo yourselves, and about 88% of you were overall pretty happy with what you saw, and 12% of you were not so positive about what you saw. What did you guys think of the gameplay that you saw? Are you happy with it yourselves? Is there anything that you're generally excited for? Any character designs you liked? I liked the character designs for Elif and Slug. I thought they looked really good. I'm also very excited about the dancing personally. I'm glad that it's back. But I'd love to hear what you guys are excited for and not so excited for. Anything you think needs a bit of, tweaking. Obviously the facial animations are the biggest one for that. And overall, thank you so much for watching, and thank you for the patience with these videos while I've been trying to figure out something with my setup. My laptop battery died recently, so I've been trying to make do with stuff. It's fun. It's really fun. But I'm trying, so thank you so much for the patience.
Consider supporting me on Patreon, as it fuels the growth of my content's quality and the variety and production of said content that you guys get to see all here on the channel. And of course, as always, a huge thank you to my current patrons. They are Cosmoronic, Nicholas Montoya, Hasgirl, Cooladora, Kay, and Zapfinelch. And if you want to see your name shouted out at the end of the video like these guys, do hop over onto Patreon and have a look around at the cool rewards on offer.
It is Icefire signing off, and I'll see you introverts later next time on the channel. Have a lovely day /night wherever you are in the world, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!